Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be talking about the fascinating science behind motivation and how it relates to entrepreneurship. And I'm also going to be pulling in my experience overgrowing multiple companies and now a tech startup, and how my scientific findings over this research has played into my motivation. I'll be presenting data and scientific studies to back these claims, giving you a deeper understanding of the psychology and brain chemicals that drive motivation, and ultimately what's going to be driving your success in any business venture or any goal that you have in your life. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be referencing studies and data throughout this video that I've put together for you guys. I'm going to reference them in the description below. So if you guys need to go into any more detail on any of the studies that I'll be referencing here, feel free to do so below. But with that being said, let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the science of motivation. Before we get started into what drives motivation, let's go into scientific detail on what exactly motivation is. In the simplest of terms, motivation is the driving force that pushes us to take action, set goals, and ultimately achieve what we're looking to achieve. Now let's dive into the science. There are three primary chemicals in our brain that are associated with motivation. Those are going to be dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. Each of these neurotransmitters play a unique role in our behaviors and motivation. Dopamine is also known as a reward chemical. This is released when we achieve a goal or make progress towards it. A study in Nature Neuroscience references that dopamine spiked when participants achieved something that got them a monetary reward, meaning money. So this really plays into being a business owner and being an entrepreneur. When you make that money and you have all of the accountability to say that I did that, I started that business and I found that client and I fulfilled on that, that is a massive amount of dopamine that's going to be hitting you and making you feel like you're motivated to do it again and do it in a bigger way. Entrepreneurs can really harness this dopamine chemical by setting achievable goals and celebrating every win, even if it's a small win. The next chemical is serotonin. Serotonin is known as the confidence chemical. This is associated with feelings of self-worth and accomplishment. A study by the University of Cambridge showed that an increase in serotonin levels led to enhanced feelings of self-esteem and social status. Us as entrepreneurs can make sure that we're always having that high level of serotonin by really celebrating all of our accomplishments, just like with dopamine, and acknowledging personal achievements, no matter how small it is, even if it's as simple as, hey, I want to make sure I wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow to get a great start on my day, and actually doing it. Lastly, the chemical oxytocin is known as the bonding chemical. This is released when you build trust and establish connections with others. Research found that oxytocin was one of the key factors in cooperation amongst teams and therefore reaching a goal at a faster, better pace. This really highlights the importance of teamwork and collaboration within entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs can sometimes feel like they're going this alone, but it doesn't have to feel that way. Just simply surrounding yourself with people that have a like mindset, that are also facing some of the same hurdles that you're facing, can really release this chemical and help with your motivation by collaborating with others, and even just having a dinner conversation with others around your problems. That can be looked at as collaboration. Now that we know what motivation is and the chemicals that cause it, let's talk about the exact ways that you can boost these chemicals and therefore boost your motivation using science. The first one is setting SMART goals. And SMART goals are very important. I've actually made an entire video around SMART goals in the past. I'll link it above. But in short, SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. And having these will make sure that you can actually accomplish your goals. Therefore, when you accomplish them, you celebrate them. And that celebration will release all three chemicals that will drive motivation and make you want to achieve more. And a study referenced in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that employees with specific, challenging goals had higher performance than those employees with vague goals. So it really comes down to thinking big and thinking in a way that you're actually going to achieve. And it doesn't mean to set out for an unrealistic goal or projection. That's great to have for your mapping and your goal setting, but you also want to have those achievable goals along the way that you can celebrate the wins of, even if they're small, in the short term, because ultimately a lot of small goals will lead to a big outcome down the road. The next thing is breaking tasks into small steps. There's countless books that reference this, and I've read a ton of different examples and different descriptions on why this is important. But let's just say your goal is to build a company that's making $1 million in revenue every single month. Now, in short, that feels like a massive, massive undertaking, and you might not get started on it because it feels like such a big, heavy goal. But if you were to break things down into what is the smallest step that I could take next, and what can I do right now that might only take 30 seconds, but is a step in the right direction, maybe that's just Googling best logo companies or best logo generators online because you need a logo to get started. That small step where you write down Google logo generation companies, that is a step in the right direction, and it is still working towards that bigger goal. But when you write down build $1 million a month company and you write down Google logo generator companies, you're likely going to take that next step if it's doable. You can still have that big goal in the future, but write down little tasks. I love to write down on paper and cross off a ton of things throughout the day. One, writing it down gets it out of my head so I can focus on what I'm looking at. And two, crossing it off gives me that dopamine hit and satisfaction of achieving something. And by giving myself those constant dopamine hits of achieving little things, I am getting myself motivated to do the next thing over and over and over again. And it's really about harnessing that ability to hit yourself with dopamine throughout the day. The next one is big, and it's honestly something that I have been trying to work on more and more, and that is about celebrating even small victories. I have really big goals for myself and our company, obviously, and when we achieve little goals, I should celebrate, but instead I just keep pushing through. And something that I'm trying to get better at is to celebrate these small victories, because in a study referenced in the Occupational and Organizational Journal, recognizing and celebrating those small accomplishments increase productivity amongst team members as well as single individuals. No matter how small, even if it's just going out and getting yourself that Starbucks drink that you like, when you achieve something, make sure that you celebrate it and you enjoy that celebration. And it doesn't even have to be buying yourself something. Maybe you just take a day and you say, hey, since I achieved that goal, I'm only going to work a half day today, and maybe you sit out by the pool. It doesn't matter as long as you do something to celebrate that small victory. The next strategy in making sure that you're always motivated is building strong relationships and connections. A study in the Journal of Business and Psychology found that social support and strong relationships in the workplace led to increased motivation and engagement amongst 100% of the participants that identified a strong relationship characteristic. As a business owner or entrepreneur, you should really focus on, hey, where can I set aside time to really build those deep connections with not only business partners and employees, but also mentors and friends. Doing so will boost your oxytocin, therefore boosting your motivation overall. And the last tip that I have for you guys to make sure that your motivation's always at an all-time high is to manage your stress levels effectively. This is huge for myself because I often have a lot on my plate. We have employees that look to me for answers, people that rely on me to make sure the company is running smoothly, and customers that have businesses depending on the software that we provide them. And if I let that stress get out of control, my motivation and my drive behind my goals would fade into nothing fast. And research from the American Psychological Foundation shows that engaging in stress-reducing activities like exercise, meditation, or even hobbies can actually not only improve your mental health, but it has an effect on your motivation as well. By managing stress effectively, an entrepreneur can maintain a balance and keep their motivation levels high. And this can also reference back to my tip on writing down just small tasks rather than big tasks. A lot of times stress can come from something that looks like such a big problem, but if you just write down the smallest next step that you need to take to resolve that problem, you will feel like you have it under much more control as you can start making progress rather than having this big problem loom over your head like a dark cloud. And oftentimes stress, in my business at least, is when I get inside my head and I'm like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this client cancels? What if this client doesn't do this? And really, you should always be thinking in best case scenarios. Instead of thinking, what if it doesn't work out? Think, what if it does work out? Because that's most likely what's going to happen. It's going to work out for you. And even if it doesn't go the right way at first, things have a weird way of playing out where everything is always happening in your best interest, whether it seemed like it in the moment or not. All right, so there you have it. By understanding the science behind motivation, referencing the latest research, and implementing these evidence-based strategies into your daily life and daily routine, you will be able to unlock your full potential and really thrive in reaching your goals as a business owner and entrepreneur. Remember these, and remember that motivation is the key behind you attaining those things that you want in your life. And if you guys ever feel like your motivation is dwindling, come back to this video and rework these strategies into your daily life. I really do hope that they help you get to where you're trying to go. So if you found this video helpful, please do me a big solid and like and subscribe to my channel. I'm looking to make more videos like this depending on what you guys actually want to see, whether it's more about business strategy and what's going on in our startup currently, or whether it's about motivation and how to stay on track for your goals. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Go ahead and share this video with anybody that you think might need to see it in your network. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Thanks.